What's the most fucked up thing you've seen someone do at a supermarket? A homeless man living in the corner of the garden center at Walmart. He set up camp behind the industrial shelves, stole a tent, and was living there for a week. He was shoplifting all his supplies and food, got balsa and stole a George Foreman grill and was cooking a steak at 2 a.m. FD was called for smoke in the building and found him behind the shelves. Was a pretty solid plan, actually. While working at Walmart, I watched a woman grab a jar of organic peanut butter, smash the glass bottle on the ground, and use the shards to cut her face. After slicing the fuck out of her face, she ran up to my stunned ass and asked to see a manager. I walkied somebody over and the manager rushed her into the office while asking me to call 911. Apparently she was an addict and jonesing hard. She figured the best thing to do was get hurt at Walmart so they would give her $1 million for pain and suffering. Shockingly enough, Walmart didn't pay out to the junkie that cut up her own face. Shit, I was going to say a couple of guys taking coke in the toilet at an Asda near me, but you win. I've got one of those stories too. Once walked in on a dude snorting a line off the toilet seat of the family bathroom. He forgot to lock the door in his desire to get high. I think every retail establishment has had somebody do drugs in the bathroom. It's like a rite of passage for a store. When I worked at Chipotle, a couple of brain-dead high schoolers tried to operate their small-time weed dealership out of our bathroom. I don't know what they expected, but we caught on fairly fucking quickly and they got banned from the restaurant. Sorry, kids. I'm a cashier, and this guy walks up to my counter with a full roast chicken. I glance at him and continue checking out the person in front of me. When I look back, he's gone. My manager comes sprinting up the aisle, picks up the chicken, shakes the container angrily and yells, "I knew it, he did it again." I pulled the container over and the guy had just taken a single bite out of the top of the chicken and left it. I have no idea how many times he's done it, but apparently enough for my manager to recognize him. There was a woman at Target yelling at her 5-year-old son for crying and embarrassing her. I mean, she was screaming things like, "You ruined my life, you little shit," etc. Luckily, the manager told her to leave and called social services after she not so subtly threatened him. When I was 5, my stepfather would drag by out of my room by my hair and swing me over the ledge of the stairs by my ankles for laughs. I used to chew on my clothes, so I had my clothes taken. I have asthma, and he got a good laugh breathing smoke into my face until I had asthma attacks. I don't know who is worse, your stepdad or your mom, for enabling that shit. I haven't spoken to her for 7 years. My memories of her is a bedridden oxy addict wasting away and yelling demands like some medical queen in a broken castle. She kicked me out at 16. I had $20. I mean, obviously having a kid ruins your life, but you don't tell them that. Jeez. Timmy's dad. Oh, that's okay, Timmy. My dreams were shattered long ago. Timmy. How long ago? Timmy's dad. How old are you? Some lady shat herself in the meat department as a diversion, while her buddy attempted to steal packs of polished sausage and deli meat in the midst of all the drama. They failed epically. What in God's name made them decide that that would be a good diversion? Direct quote from her. "Girl, we needed to barbecue. You know how it is." This like 5-year-old kid emptied a 4-pint bottle of milk all over floor, and her mum just stood there and watched. Taff lady? Control your ridiculous child. To add to that, the child managed to place the empty bottle in the center of this now 2-mile-wide puddle, and the mum just looked at me and said, "You've got some cleaning up to do." There was an old lady snacking on frozen chicken legs while pushing her cart around. She had wild semi-dreaded gray hair, layers of earth-colored dresses, and a hunchback. That blew my 10-year-old mind. She really was a witch. Raw frozen chicken legs? The paleness made me think yes, they were very much raw. This isn't fucked up, but I thought it was hysterical. I was ringing these 2 middle-aged guys up on my line, and I rang up a couple bananas and a giant thing of soda, so the soda went crashing into the bananas. And one of the guys said, "Oh, you're crushing my bananas," and the other guy yelled in the most flamboyant voice I've ever heard, "That's not what you said in bed last night, bitch." And I couldn't stop laughing for 10 minutes. I was a cashier at Kroger for a bit. The employee restroom was in the back of the store, so us front-end people would always use the public bathroom at the front of the store. I had to pee one day and ran in the men's room. There was only one stall, which was massive, 'cause it was a handicap stall. Other than the stall, there was a urinal. I was at the urinal doing my business when I hear the door open behind me and hear someone literally run into the handicap stall and almost immediately start shitting. Just the worst, most awful sounds you can imagine coming out of some human's a-hole, along with grunts and groans from the person. And the smell. The smell was atrocious. I'm trying to finish peeing and I look down just to get a glimpse of this person's shoes so that I can see who this monster is when they come out of the bathroom, by identifying them by their shoes, and I realize I can't see any feet. In fact, I don't see anyone at all. I can see the bottom of the toilet and the floor, but no human being. I think, what the hell, and move away from the urinal and over to the sink, which is in front of the door to the handicap stall, and the door is wide open because the person didn't close it. Thanks to the wide open door, I see that the person is crouched in the corner of the stall, opposite of the toilet, and just shitting directly on the bathroom floor. The guy realizes I'm looking at him, makes eye contact with me, and with a completely serious and blank face says, "Oh, sorry," and pulls his pants up and moves right past me and out the door. He didn't wipe or anything. He just stood up and left, leaving a triceratops-sized pile of shit on the bathroom floor. I was so dumbfounded by all of this that I didn't even say anything to anyone. I just left the bathroom and went back to my check lane. This happened to me while I was working at Kmart, except with a couple key differences. I didn't see or hear the person do this, but when they were done they decided to somehow push and slide their pile of feces across the floor of the entire bathroom and out into the hallway where they left it, and walked away. I can't even begin to fathom what was going through their head and how nobody noticed or said anything. And guess who got to clean it up? I once saw somebody open a bottle of milk, sniff it, and wrinkled her nose in disgust. Then proceeded to pour the bit of milk she didn't like into another bottle and buy the first bottle. I worked in a large supermarket a few years back, and some guy came and walked round the store and every now and then dropped a nugget of turd by shaking his trousers. It happened 3 consecutive weeks before someone worked out who it was. He was leaving a trail of poo crumbs to find his way back home. When I was in elementary school, I had a huge phobia of using the public restroom. I developed an iron bladder. But one day I had to poo. I was determined to hold it, but waiting in line after last recess it was coming out like it or not. I slyly moved to the back of the line and this thing flew out my backside as everyone started walking and I shook it out my pant leg. I had on some loose boxers. It sat on the concrete outside our classroom for 2 days before a classmate noticed it. But another kid almost immediately picked up another girl's skirt, and the poo was quickly forgotten. It was the perfect crime. Feels good to get that off my chest. Just a few. Elderly woman in just bra and panties buying fresh fish. Customer hitting one of my coworkers in the face with a thrown apple. The worst one though was a line of liquid shit leading up one aisle and back down the next one. A fat guy hurried into the store. He was beet red and sweating profusely. He rushed up to the counter with a few bottles of extra-strength laxative. As soon as I finished scanning them, he started chugging them. He paid cash and I handed him his receipt and change. He burped and pushed the receipt and now empty bottles towards me and calmly walked out of the store. I'm usually in a rush after I drink the laxative. Yet it was odd. He drank it like it was water after being stranded in the desert for a week. Something was up his butt. Really obese old lady at Walmart just trying on deodorants and putting them back. Think she tried like 20 before she was satisfied to continue on without putting one in her cart. Quietly panicking, trying to remember if my deodorant had that plastic tamper wrap stuff on it or not. One time I bought some over-the-counter sleeping pills from Walmart that I found out had had the safety seal removed when I brought them home. When I went back to the store the next day to get a replacement, the woman working at the customer service desk opened the bottle, counted the pills with her dirty hands, and said, "They're all here, so what's the problem?" I seriously had to explain to this grown woman why I wasn't going to trust an open bottle of pills and why it was reasonable of me to expect a replacement. Not so much fucked up as it is sad, but there's this middle-aged white trash-looking woman I see sometimes at Target, and she's always buying the same shit. 2 giant 24-packs of Mountain Dew and a stack of frozen pizzas. That's it. That's her life. Mountain Dew and pizza. My friend was pregnant with twins and was at Wegmans with our other friend. Unfortunately, I didn't get to witness this. Her water broke in, of all places, the pickle aisle. She threw jars of pickles on the liquid to hide it, then left. She said she didn't really know why she did that. She freaked out and didn't want anyone to think she pissed herself, not thinking, I'm massively pregnant with twins and water breaking is an actual thing. That is seriously a thing some people tell the pregnant to do, even carry one around with you so that if your water breaks in public you drop it to mask the fluid. I just don't get that. Sure, having that happen in public can be a bit embarrassing, but to make a bigger mess instead of letting someone know? It's not like they'll think you peed or anything. Worked in a small local mini market. There was an assistant manager there that none of us liked. He was incompetent, but really smarmy because his dad owned the company. One day a known shoplifter comes in, a Roma gypsy in her 60s, so he tracks her on the CCTV and sees her stash a bottle of expensive shampoo up her skirt. Delighted that he was going to catch her in the act and be a hero, he immediately went to confront her. Before he got to her, she had obviously felt something was up and put the shampoo back. When he confronted her and said he knew she was hiding something, she whipped off her dress in one quick motion and stood there stark naked and challenged him to find the shampoo on her person. He looked simultaneously devastated and disgusted and told us afterwards that he could hear us all laughing in the security office from the shop floor. My mom saw a woman sneeze on the tomatoes and then take a picture of them. We're still baffled. Maybe she thought that they'd look fresh with some dewdrops on them. Do you have a similar story? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.